Sean here. Let's talk about Cyraxx. Let's talk about who Cyraxx really is, what makes him tick. It's pretty simple. If I stripped all of your layers away, down to the point where the only thing I cared about was, do you see the difference between right and wrong? Now you could argue, well, what laws are we talking about? Well, are there any laws that really apply to this? These are man-made laws, you see where I'm going. But a moral compass, right? When you strip Cyraxx down to that part that makes us either ethical, good, or a monster, Cyraxx doesn't have it. His little dividing line is on the right-hand side is what I don't want to do. And on the left-hand side is what I do want to do. He doesn't care if it's right or wrong. It's what he wants. And when you don't like what he's doing, or he gets caught and people are clowning him, it's not that he thinks he got caught doing something wrong. He's raging because you guys don't support it. You guys don't understand. Well, what's wrong with that? It's what I wanted to do. Seriously, go back and listen to all of his rants and his raves. Most of the time, it's the same thing with Lauren Armstrong. Lauren had drinking. I'm not going to get into that yet, but same thing with Lauren. He will tell you, I know what I did was wrong. But he can't really express, I guess you would say. He can't put into words why it was wrong. So he just comes up with the, I don't know what I was thinking. My head weren't on straight. Macaroni and cheese. With Chance, and this is the scary part, he knows what's right and what's wrong, and he doesn't care. So if you were to draw Cyraxx, say point A is Cyraxx, point B is whatever it is he's got his one eye set on, because the other one's like wandering. This is what is terrifying about Chance. If you're at point A, Chance is at point A, and he's moving towards point B and he gets caught. He doesn't consider himself caught or stopped or even slowed down, because you could think of it as a car. And you're Superman, and you're stopping it, but the guy driving it is still flooring. He's still flooring it, and he's burning rubber, and there's smoke going everywhere. That's Cyraxx. It doesn't matter if there's an unstoppable force in front of him. He's going to keep trying desperately to get to point B. He's going to find a way to look at Lauren Armstrong, and I apologize for going back, but they really are similar. When Lauren was trying to groom the 13-year-old, it was the most convoluted shit in the world. We'll break up on MySpace, then we'll talk on Yahoo, and then we'll go back over here to AO, whatever it was. You know, we're going to do this over there. We'll get back together. And he had this whole thing worked out. The whole time, he knew it was wrong. But damn it, he wanted to get to point B so badly. And with Cyraxx, it's the same. You stop him, he gets caught. He's not thinking about getting caught. He doesn't care that he got caught. In his head, he's only thinking point B, point B, point B, point B. And even though he's delusional, point A to point B is a logical path. But Cyraxx wants point B so bad, he is willing to do the dumbest shit ever. He will leave that straight line, and he'll jump out in the middle of nowhere where it's uncharted territory for him. He doesn't know what to do, and he'll just be this squiggly line, desperately trying to get over to point B, to what he wants. And it never works, ever, because in between his point A, which is him, and point B, being rich, famous, and having underage girls around him, there is way too much shit that has to happen, doesn't have to happen. You know what I mean. Chance's mindset would be, what's Superman still pushing back, one hand on the car, yawning, while Cyraxx is flooring it, right? His little clown car. Cyraxx wouldn't say, you know what, I probably shouldn't do this. I'm not going to this is not a good idea. I'm not going to get anywhere. You see what I'm saying now? I'm not going to get anywhere. Cyraxx wouldn't care. He would think, hey, somebody go get another car, put it behind my car, and push it. And this is how he makes his decisions. Not only would the car not help at all, but it would also destroy parts of both of those cars. And he would drag whoever's driving the car in, and then they would get nowhere. Everyone that Chance draws into his little world, they don't go anywhere either. If Chance had his way, he would be at point A, and the entire world, this is what he dreams of, the entire world would be dots surrounding him, and they'd all be helping him get to point B. What kind of an asshole do you have to be that your goal, you don't even take into account the wants, needs of anyone else, their feelings, emotions, nothing. You don't take any of that into account. You think everybody else should be with you to get you to where you want to go. It is a fucking sick mindset. He is sick. You know people like that. I mean, I've done it too. I think we all have. We've had one situation where we wanted something so badly that we used somebody. I'm not talking about like for sex or drugs or anything like that. I'm talking about we used them to get an in with somebody. We used them to hook us up with a girl, boy, whoever. Just, you know what I mean. We use somebody's status or connections. It happens. It's what friends are for. Cyraxx doesn't have any friends. I hope you see where I'm going with this. Cyraxx doesn't have any friends. So no one is going to help him out of the goodness of their heart. So Cyraxx has to try to use them. That is why he can't hold on to any relationships. Everyone is a tool to get him what he wants. He wants that point B. He wants those underage girls. He wants to be famous and adored. He wants to be rich, but that's the least of his wants, I think. He wants to be... He would be happy, honestly, if he had his laptop, internet, all the Hot Pockets he can drink, all the sludge, whatever it is that he wants. He'd be happy if he could just shut his door and never have to see anyone ever again. I kind of picture Cyraxx as the guy from Up in that house where they're building the freeway, but the house is still there. You know, he doesn't move. Everything else is evolving. Everything else is growing, and he's still in his attic. In his head, it is still 15 years ago because he doesn't go out enough. He doesn't see what's happening. He only sees... I mean, we know he spends most of his time gooning or watching videos about him. That's what he's been doing for a decade. He hasn't evolved. So going back to point A to point B hasn't changed either. It's like saving up to finally get the membership for a country club. You saved up 10 grand. You've been saving up for 15 years. And then you go to pay it. And now it's 100 grand. Because you still had a goal that is a decade old. All of Cyraxx's goals are old. In his head, there was something with Moist Critical I want to talk about. Occasionally I'll check him out, but he was saying he turned off his earnings. He'd earned something like $37 million on YouTube or something. And one day he just said, this is obscene. There are people out there working real jobs. They're watching me. I'm getting paid a ridiculous amount of money. I think it's a midlife crisis coming up. He'll flip that shit back on in a year. Don't worry about it. But Charlie is who Chance wants to be. I would never, ever want to be Charlie. This right here, me talking on this, is scary. Because I like this community. I like the pornography community. You can make mistakes. People don't crucify you. Something bad can happen and people are generally friendly and they care. But with Charlie, when he talks, there are enough psychos that probably stalk him and that just want to get famous off of him. He's way too visible. And then there'll be headlines on, Moist Charlie, aka Moist Critical, says. Now, I wouldn't want that. But Chance sure would. Cyraxx says, and then whatever quote it is. I mean, this dude is trying to come out as trans. If you think about it, and I'm not joking, I'm surprised. If you go overseas right now, there's insanity. People are getting just unalived. They're getting assaulted. They're getting SA. And they're getting no jail time. Because, well, they didn't know this is happening. This is not just me saying some rare case. This is very common. Young girls getting attacked and nothing happens. Because, well, they didn't know any better. Where they came from, it was okay. Most of us feel outrage when we hear that. Chance would probably think in his head, hey, here's my opportunity. You know, I can be an immigrant and say, well, I didn't really know. I mean, he's not coming from the right country, so he couldn't come from America, of course. But what I'm trying to make a point about here is morals and ethics. And Chance doesn't have any. He would see that situation and want to try to take care of it. And I'm not joking. Come on, man. Tell me you couldn't see Chance Wilkins doing the worst blackface in the history of blackface to try and get away with something, because in certain parts of the country you can get arrested, was it like 52 times, 45 times, 47 times, all for violent offenses, and never have to pay bail and never go to jail. Not trying to get political, that shit is happening a lot. Most of us understand what the fuck. People are dying because of this. Chance, he would be like, oh, this is great. This is great. I'll do this terrible thing like blackface. I'll do that. And then I'll go do a bunch of terrible things to people. And then I'll get away with it. That's how he works. Exploits. Glitches. You remember let me just sum it up. The video game where he said he broke the world record and he ended up having assist on, and it was a complete fake world record, but of course he said he's #1 player in the world or whatever. But he tries to do what he does in video games. There is no exploit in real life unless you're rich and powerful or you have rich and powerful friends. There's no exploit. There's no glitch. You're at point A, Chance. You're trying to go to point B. I know this is convoluted. I'm kind of tired, so I have no idea if any of this made any sense whatsoever. He sees what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. Not right and not wrong. And I hope you understand, I was making a point about all the headlines in the news. What did the guy from Oregon say? Well, you know, even if it was a violent assault, we don't really know how they were raised and if they were abused as a kid, so we don't put them in jail. Fucking insanity. This is a country right now where Cyrax should be thriving. I mean, he lives in Ohio, so maybe not. But if this dude lived in a blue state, California especially, holy shit, he would be in heaven. He could do whatever the hell he wanted. He could go down, he could loot. Well, I don't know. I don't know in California. It depends. I don't know. They think he was a kid. Maybe they leave him alone. But he could loot. He could go get all those toys he wanted. Yeah, Cyrax, listen. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Chicago, where you could pretty much kill somebody and not go to jail. I'm not joking. Go down there. Pick the most hood neighborhood, because remember, Cyrax, you're from the streets, right? You're a gangster, so it should be okay to pick a hood to go in, wearing your little beanie and your rings, and I want you to go into that store and tell everyone that you're getting ready to steal the most expensive laptop they've got. And when you do, because in Chicago you can just steal everything, shit's been stolen so much, stores have closed down. Toothpaste is on lockdown. Shaving cream is behind it's crazy. But I want you to grab that laptop, and I want you to throw up your Ohio gang signs, and I want you to pull your pants down, down to around your knees. You exaggerate what you want to be all the time, which is why you wear your stupid little mask. If somebody you wanted to be wore their pants down so the top of their boxers showed, you'd have your pants down around your ankles, because you're just that gangster. So I want you to grab that laptop. I want you to come out, and I want you to just say, I'm a gangster. Throw up a couple gang signs, and we'll see how long you last. As a matter of fact, I want you to film it when you do that. Because even in these cities, in those neighborhoods, Cyraxx, where people are just going in and they're being told, don't stop any shoplifters that are leaving so you can just go in, grab whatever you want, and run out. Cyraxx, you would screw that up. You would get jumped, beaten, thrown in jail, because after that long rant, you can't even do what's wrong correctly. That's your problem, Chance. You can't do what's right in the first place. And you can't do the wrong things you want to do correctly. That's the only saving grace about you, man. The only saving grace is that you're too stupid to do those terrible things. I know I rambled, but man, Cyraxx is a master. He's exactly where I said he would be. He's exactly where I said he'd be. The hat's on, gloves on, rings are coming on. We're getting closer to Halloween. It's more smug, more I'm in charge, more you trolls, more I got you. And then in November, you guys already know the deal. I had that video. He is right on schedule. Right on schedule to have that milestone crash out. Unless John and William absolutely obliterate him and send him through the roof. I think January, February most likely, late January, early February, we're going to have that milestone crash out. So anyway, I just wanted to put a video out. I know I ranted. Fuck Cyraxx. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey, ain't gonna make sense to me, dude.